For centuries, many powerful royal families around the world practiced marriages within close kinship to preserve their lineage, maintain political alliances, and retain power within a single bloodline. This practice, known as inbreeding, involved repeated unions between cousins, uncles, and nieces, and sometimes even siblings across generations. It was not merely a social or cultural choice, it was a strategic policy to safeguard dynastic rule. Yet history reveals that this quest for pure blood often led to genetic weakness, hereditary diseases, and even the collapse of entire royal dynasties. The Habsburg dynasty, Europe's towering power. The Habsburgs were one of Europe's most dominant royal houses, ruling vast territories including Austria, Hungary, Spain, Portugal, Bohemia, and more. Their famous motto, "Others wage war, you happy Austria." Mary reflected their reliance on marital alliances over military conquest. This strategy yielded short-term political gains but long-term genetic consequences over successive generations. Habsburgs married their close relatives to such an extent that individuals were often descended from a small number of common ancestors on multiple sides of the family tree. This led to a high degree of genetic similarity within the bloodline. One infamous result was the so-called Habsburg jaw, pronounced protrusion of the lower jaw, often accompanied by oversized lips and difficulty in chewing and speaking. The Habsburg jaw, a genetic signature. The Habsburg jaw became a defining physical feature of the dynasty. It was not just a quirk of appearance, it was a symptom of underlying genetic inbreeding. Portraits from the era clearly depict the extended jawlines of Habsburg monarchs. Modern genetic analysis and historical records suggest that the inbreeding coefficient among later Habsburgs reached dangerously high levels, making them especially prone to inherited disorders. Charles II of Spain, the costliest example, perhaps the most extreme example of Habsburg inbreeding, was Charles II of Spain. Born in 1661, from birth, he suffered severe physical and mental impairments. He was unable to chew properly, spoke with difficulty, had developmental delays, and could not father children. Charles I's parents were uncle and niece. Going back further, almost every marriage in his lineage was between close relatives. Scientists estimate his inbreeding coefficient at over 25%, which is comparable to a child born from siblings. Due to his inability to produce an heir, Charles I's death in 1700 without issue triggered the War of Spanish Succession, ending the Habsburg rule in Spain. Not just physical, mental effects too. Inbreeding's consequences went beyond the physical. Several members of royal families exhibited signs of mental instability or cognitive decline. Poor decision-making, depression, and erratic behavior were not uncommon among monarchs from heavily inbred lineages. Global patterns, not just Europe. The phenomenon was not confined to Europe. Royal houses in ancient Egypt, Persia, the Ottoman Empire, China, and the Inca civilization also practiced inbreeding, often under the belief that royal blood was sacred and should remain within the family. In many cases, brother-sister marriages were considered divine unions. However, these dynasties too witnessed similar patterns of genetic disorders and dynastic instability. Hemophilia, Queen Victoria, and the spread of genetic disease in European monarchies. Inbreeding was not unique to the Habsburgs. Other prominent European royal families also engaged in close relative marriages, sometimes unknowingly spreading hereditary disorders that would shape the course of history. One of the most notable examples is the case of Queen Victoria of the United Kingdom and the spread of hemophilia across multiple European monarchies. Queen Victoria and the spread of hemophilia. Queen Victoria 1819-1901, monarch of the United Kingdom, had 9 children. Many of their marriages were arranged with members of other royal houses, including those in Germany, Russia, and Spain. While politically strategic, these unions inadvertently transmitted a dangerous recessive gene across Europe. Hemophilia is a genetic disorder that impairs the blood's ability to clot. Even minor injuries can lead to prolonged bleeding, and internal bleeding can be life-threatening. While women typically carry the gene, it usually manifests in male offspring. Queen Victoria is believed to have been a carrier of the hemophilia gene. Although she herself did not suffer from the disease, she passed the gene to her descendants, many of whom became central figures in other European royal families. The Russian imperial family and the Tsarevich Alexei. Victoria's granddaughter, Alexandra, married Tsar Nicholas II of Russia. Their only son, Alexei, inherited hemophilia. His illness remained a closely guarded secret, as it posed a serious threat to the public's confidence in the Romanov dynasty. The inability of doctors to treat Alexei's condition led Alexandra to rely on Rasputin, a mystic who claimed to have healing powers. His influence over the royal family eroded the public's trust in the monarchy, contributing to growing dissatisfaction and political unrest. In 1917, amid revolution, the Romanov dynasty collapsed. In 1918, Nicholas II, Alexandra, Alexei, and their daughters were executed, ending centuries of Russian monarchy. The fragile health of the heir, a direct result of hereditary disease, played a quiet yet significant role in weakening the royal image. Other monarchies affected, Spain and Germany. Queen Victoria's descendants also married into the Spanish and German royal families. Alfonso XIII of Spain had sons who suffered from hemophilia, further weakening the Spanish crown's prestige. Similar patterns were observed in various branches of European royalty. Genetics and the science of inbreeding. Modern genetics explains that recessive genes, which may be harmless in carriers, can become dangerous when both parents possess the same mutation. Inbreeding significantly increases the probability of such pairings. Inherited conditions like hemophilia, cognitive disabilities, and physical deformities were observed across generations in royal families that practiced consanguineous marriage. Repeated inbreeding narrows the genetic pool, eliminating the natural diversity that provides resistance to disease and ensures robust offspring. Over time, this led to fragile heirs, weak dynasties, and vulnerable leadership. Nature's balance and dynastic decline. Nature relies on genetic diversity to ensure survival. When human strategy interferes with natural law, such as enforcing marriage within closed bloodlines, the cost is often hidden until it becomes irreversible. The pursuit of dynastic purity, though intended to consolidate power, ultimately contributed to the downfall of some of history's most powerful royal families.